Alright guys, Gemini, back with another video, and one of the coolest things that I ever can say that I did as a wrestling fan was I was at the original Axxesses for Wrestlemania back in 2000 and 2001. I think 2000 was the first year they had this thing going. I mean, back in 94 they had like the Fan Fest, and they always did shit for the fans at Wrestlemania, but 2000 was the first true Axxess in Anaheim, and then I went back to Houston in 2001. I want to speak a little bit about my experience at Axxess in 2001 and how epic and amazing it was. First off, the story on this goes, they did WrestleMania at the Astrodome, but right next to it was a 7,000 seat arena called the Astro Arena, where WCW used to film their pay-per-views. WCW 7,000, WWF 70,000. That kind of tells you the way that things went in wrestling back in the day. WCW was no competition in like early 90s. 93 Fall Brawl, I believe, was in the Astro Arena. I doubt they even filled that place up. Probably gave away tickets, but it is what it is. WCW 93 was bad. But point being, we get to Houston, and we're pretty fired up for WrestleMania. We get to Axxess. It was cool. They had a ring. They had all the old legends. You just paid when you got in, so you just paid, you know, whatever, $25 for your Axxess ticket, and all the wrestlers you could just go up to and meet them. I met so many wrestlers in Houston. I met Lord Alfred Hayes. I met Earthquake, Typhoon, Brooklyn Brawler, Blackjack Lanza. Some of those older guys were kind of grumpy too. Like when I went up to Tony Gurria, I was like, "Hey man, you were the tag team champions," and with Rick Martel, and he goes, "Son, you know how long ago that was?" And I said, "Oh, what, 10 years ago?" And he goes, "It was 20 years ago." And I didn't know why Tony Gurria acted like that, but whatever, that was okay. And then I went up to Brooklyn Brawler, and I knew that they were doing the gimmick Battle Royal tomorrow at WrestleMania 17, so I said to him, I knew it was Kim Chi, you know, Kamal's manager, and I knew Kamal was in the gimmick Battle Royal. And so I said, "Hey man, you working tomorrow?" And the Brooklyn Brawler goes, "I don't know yet." Like real sarcastic, like dick-like. So he was kind of a dick. When I met Lord Alfred Hayes at Axxess, I barely recognized him. He had aged so much and later died and stuff. But I walked away from that, and I was like, who the hell did I just meet? I really didn't understand his signature on my program either. I didn't understand it. And so I stood there and I examined the damn thing. Examined it, and I pick out the first word, and it says Lord. And I'm like, oh God. And so I'm hitting my buddy John on the shoulder. I'm hitting him, "Dude, look, Lord Alfred Hayes." And I was like, I was marking out because I had just met Lord Alfred Hayes. Met him, and then we went up and we met the Earthquake and Typhoon. And Typhoon was cool as hell. He was hella cool. Earthquake, not so much. Earthquake looked like he was over it, and he wasn't really feeling it. So I said, "Oh, Earthquake, I loved it when you crushed Hulk Hogan on Superstars years ago. You almost ended Hulkamania." And Earthquake just ignored me. And then Typhoon goes, "Oh, don't worry about him. He's just kind of grumpy, but yeah, that was a good moment." So that was cool, meeting Typhoon and Earthquake. And then we did a Q&A with Val Venus. That Texas cowboy crowd just roasted Val Venus because he came out in his right to censor gimmick. And they finally handed me the mic. They were handing all the fans the mic. And I finally got to speak to Val Venus, and I said, "Hey Val, how's it going to feel tomorrow when you are laying in the Tasmission submission hold?" And he looks back at me, and he has this mic. He says, "The Tasmission is a figment of your imagination, young man." And the Texas cowboy crowd was just roasting the guy. And Val Venus, he gets out of the ring after this Q&A, and oh my God, he was pissed because the crowd had just been giving it to Val in his right to censor gimmick for like 20 minutes. But yeah, I mean, it was wrestling history. It was. And we had a blast at the Astro Arena at Axxess 2001. One of the funnest experiences. The Hardy Boys line was so long. Kurt Angle's line was long. Lita's line was long. Trish's line was long. All your big star. Chris Benoit was sitting there, and his line was long. All in all, Axxess 2001 in Houston was an amazing experience, and something I'll hold near and dear to my heart, and I'll never forget it. So you guys leave your comments below and let me know what you thought about the story today. Gemini, have a good one.